There is what is called uric acid lowering therapy or ULT. When do we use uric acid lowering therapy? Supposing the patient has presented with acute attack of gout, there is no place for uric acid lowering therapy because uric acid lowering therapy takes some time to act. It will take at least 2 or 3 weeks for the uric acid lowering therapy to be effective. By then, the suffering will be over almost and the acute symptoms are not relieved. The other aspect is uric acid lowering therapy itself might precipitate an acute attack. So, we are forbidden from using ULT in a case of acute attack. But then, in order to prevent chronic in order to prevent recurring attacks, we can use ULT. Supposing with one attack of gout, will we start ULT? No. At least 2 attacks of gout would have occurred and there should be hyperuricemia to start uric acid lowering therapy. We will see the indications for ULT in the subsequent slides, but there are 2 ways of lowering the uric acid. Either by increasing the excretion of uric acid through the kidney or by decreasing the production of uric acid in the body. It depends whether we are dealing with a patient who is having overproduction gout or under excretion gout. How do we know the patient is under excreting or not? First of all, we must demonstrate that he had at least 2 acute attacks and there must be an increase in the uric acid more than 7 milligrams in the serum. Then look at the 24-hour urine. If the 24-hour urine excretion is less than 800 milligrams, that means patient is not excreting enough uric acid through the kidney is not pushing uric acid correctly, then you require what is called uricose uric therapy. The uricose uric drugs are probenecid 500 milligrams and escalated up to 1 to 2 grams, sulfenperazone in a dose of 50 to 100 milligrams BID. These are the 2 uricose uric drugs. We will see in the subsequent slides about them. There are other uricose uric agents also, and only important thing is when we give uricose uric therapy, we are allowing the uric acid to come into the urine. So much so, we require the urine to be dilute. We want more urine to be formed. So keep the urine output at least 2000 ml by drinking more fluids. The other way of reducing the serum uric acid is by preventing the formation of uric acid from xanthine or hypoxanthine. Hypoxanthine, xanthine, uric acid by inhibiting the enzyme xanthine oxidase, as we have already seen in the previous slide. We have very good xanthine oxidase inhibitors. 2 drugs are available today in the market, allopurinol and febuxostat. Both are good. The initial choice would be allopurinol. For that, the serum uric acid should be elevated and urinary uric acid must be more than 800 milligrams per 24 hours. That means the renal excretion is good, but they are overproducers. In such a case, we will try to interfere with the production of uric acid by inhibiting the enzyme xanthine oxidase. The problem with the xanthine oxidase inhibitors is precipitation of acute attack is a problem as with uricose uric therapy. So we have to be careful in choosing the uric acid lowering therapy. Either it could be uricose uric therapy or it could be uric acid inhibition by xanthine oxidase inhibitors. And the chronic gout with tophaceous gout who have elevated uric acid, or when there are tophi, even if the uric acid is normal, to dissolve the tophi, we require uricose uric therapy. Probenecid available as Benamid can be used in the doses described above. Sulfenperazone available as Anturane. Toxic side effects should be watched for, particularly those related to the hematological side effects and GI side effects. Avoid in patients with renal disease and consider non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs to avoid any precipitation or acute exacerbation of the gout along with the uricosuric therapy. Benjbromarone is another good agent which is newly being used for uricosuric therapy. We will see a little bit about probenecid and benjbromarone in the subsequent slides. Probenecid as a prophylactic initially can be given at 250 milligrams orally twice daily for 1 week. Maintenance uricosuric drug 500 milligrams oral twice daily if symptoms persist or if the 24-hour urate excretion is below 700 milligrams. Incrementally increased by 500 milligrams every 4 weeks. So we started with something less than 800, but in spite of uricosuric therapy, if the serum uric acid, the urine uric acid is less than 700, that means the dose is not adequate, then we have to increase the uricosuric therapy every 4 weeks. A maximum of 2 grams per day of probenecid can be given. I told you that probenecid is available as Benemid. Benjbromarone, available as Benjarone, it retains its uricosuric effect at a dose of 25 to 150 milligrams per day in patients who have creatinine clearance of at least 1/4 of the normal. Normal creatinine clearance being anywhere above 90 ml per milliliters per minute, and if the patient has got 25 milliliters per minute, then of course benjbromarone can be tried. But when the creatinine clearance falls below that level, benjbromarone will not be efficacious and it should not be used. It is a good uricosuric drug and a safer drug. It is effective in mild and moderate disease and it may cause hepatotoxicity. Please remember that is one problem with that. So AST, ALT should be monitored, and in many countries it is not available. I think in our country also benjbromarone is not available. For the treatment of chronic condition of the gout like chronic tophaceous gout or recurrent attacks of gout with hyperuricemia, the indications for uricosuric therapy have been discussed. Now we are looking at the indications for giving xanthine oxidase inhibitors, those drugs which prevent the formation of uric acid, which prevent the synthesis of uric acid. What are the indications for xanthine oxidase inhibitors? The first and foremost is tophaceous deposits. Uric acid constantly above 9 milligrams per cent serum in the serum. Persistent symptoms with moderate uric acid levels, impaired renal function, prophylaxis for tumor lysis syndrome. That is, when we give anti-tumor chemotherapy, more and more of these tumor cells are destroyed, particularly the hematological malignancy tumors, and that destruction produces lot of purines. Those purines get converted into uric acid. So in such a situation, before giving tumor lysis therapy, we can as well start allopurinol together to prevent uric acid surges. One important thing is, whenever we give the xanthine oxidase inhibitors, we may precipitate acute attack. So we may have to co-administer NSAIDs, or if the patient is intolerant to NSAIDs, we may co-administer colchicine to avoid acute manifestations. Allopurinol is available in tablet form under the brand name Xyloric or Xyloprim. Indications for urate lowering therapy are ULT, recurrent acute attacks, tophi, bone or joint changes, renal disease and or nephrolithiasis related to uric acid, that is uric acid nephropathy, and markedly elevated serum uric acid, more than 9 milligrams per cent. In mild disease, allopurinol is the drug of choice. 100 to 300 milligrams per day can be increased further depending on the uric acid excretion, uric acid levels, orally as a single or divided dose, 2 or 3 divided doses. In moderate to severe disease also, allopurinol is the drug of choice. In such a situation, we use a higher dose like 400 to 600 milligrams per day orally, either as a single dose or in divided doses of 2 to 3 times. Maximum dose of allopurinol per day could be 800 milligrams per day. Remember, it is a xanthine oxidase inhibitor, but this is a non-selective xanthine oxidase inhibitor. Let's look at the next slide. Febuxostat. Febuxostat is a newer drug, relatively new into the market. It is also a xanthine oxidase inhibitor, but this is a selective xanthine oxidase inhibitor for the inhibition of synthesis of uric acid alone. It is available as Uloric brand name, given as 80 milligrams daily as a single dose. In those intolerant to allopurinol, this can be tried. It can be given. The advantages in renal insufficiency also, but allopurinol dose has to be adjusted or totally avoided in patients with renal insufficiency. If the target serum uric acid of 5 to 6 milligrams is not achieved with allopurinol and other uricosuric drugs and diet, high baseline serum uric acid levels like 11, 12, 13 milligrams of uric acid, then febuxostat can be tried. Severe tophaceous gout. Patient has got multiple joint and periarticular involvement with tophi or subcutaneous deposits of tophi. Once we start xanthine oxidase inhibitors and uricosuric drugs, the tophi start resolving in a matter of months, and slowly the patient will experience the improvement, and the serum uric acid pool is depleted. The uric acid is drawn from the depots or the deposits where the tophi are there, and then slowly it gets either excreted through the alimentary tract or through the kidney. What are the newer drugs for gout? Febuxostat, xanthine oxidase inhibitor, we have already discussed. Pegloticase. Pegloticase is what? It is a synthetic uricase. Human beings and many other mammals do not have the enzyme called uricase. If uricase were to be there, urea will be split and excreted very easily in the urine without the problem of solute formation or the crystal formation. The split products of urea are very simple molecules, ammonia and then water, and these can be easily excreted. Pegloticase is a synthetic uricase. This is being tried as a novel agent in patients who are refractory to the conventional drugs. Losartan potassium, ARB, angiotensin receptor blocker, which we use in hypertension, has got mild urate lowering properties. So patients who are hypertensive, who are hyperuricemics, if you put them on losartan, there will be double benefit. The hypertension will be controlled and uric acid levels also will be lower. Fenofibrate, which we use for treating hyperlipidemia, particularly hypertriglyceridemia, also has got uric acid lowering property. This can be taken advantage in patients who are dyslipidemic. There is also some evidence to say dietary supplements of vitamin C regularly can reduce the levels of uric acid. But again, this particular information is not substantiated. This finding of vitamin C being beneficial is not substantiated by many studies across in the globe. Nonetheless, there are some studies which have demonstrated the role of vitamin C in reducing uric acid. It is an innocuous intervention. One can always try that. When do we use the synthetic uricase, pegloticase? When patients are intolerant to either allopurinol or febuxostat, being the xanthine oxidase inhibitors, when they do not achieve the target serum urates, when there are high serum urate levels at the baseline, when there are severe tophaceous gouty deposits, or as an induction therapy to start in patients who has chronic gout with tophaceous gout. The other drugs we have already discussed, losartan, fenofibrate. So hypertension or hyperlipidemia concomitantly present, we can try losartan and fenofibrate. They have milder effects. Therapy for borderline hyperuricemia, they could be adjunct therapy while on allopurinol. Vitamin C, not replicated in studies, milder in its effects and also in borderline hyperuricemia. What is the prognosis of a patient of gout? Generally it is good. Acute attacks will subside in a matter of 1 to 2 weeks. More severe course will be there when the symptoms are present in a younger individual less than 30 years. Up to 50% progress to chronic disease if untreated. If we start treatment for after 2 acute attacks, we can almost prevent recurring attacks. In cases of tophaceous gout, the treatments are very effective, but they take time. Surgical intervention may be required for large tophi. So our surgeon has to operate and remove the load of the tophaceous material in and around the joint. The large tophi and involvement of the joint can predispose to secondary osteoarthritis. That again needs to be addressed. Today, hyperuricemia is not only associated with gout. Hyperuricemia is linked to several other comorbidities. Hyperuricemia can occur with obesity, with hyperlipidemia as a component of metabolic syndrome, in patients who are hypertensive, in diabetes mellitus, in chronic renal disease and in heart failure. Hyperuricemia could be a marker of vascular ill health. So, routine measurement of uric acid as a cardiovascular risk marker has also come into vogue, and the question is, do we treat hyperuricemia to reduce the risk of cardiometabolic problems? No. Supposing we find a patient to have 7 or more milligrams of uric acid, it's not an indication for uricosuric therapy or uric acid lowering therapy, but it is an indication that there is something going on in the vascular front, and look for all the other vascular parameters. And of course, dietary modifications, restricting ethanol, restricting purine containing diet, and of course reduction in the body weight, regular exercise, these can be promoted. And if the hyperuricemia is more than 11 milligrams %, then of course we will be constrained to treat the hyperuricemia either with uricosuric drugs or with xanthine oxidase inhibitors. So finally, the 10 commandments are the take-home messages on gout. These are given by the British Society for Rheumatology, BSR. Fast-acting NSAIDs are the drugs of choice for acute gout. We should not prescribe xanthine oxidase inhibitors or uricosuric drugs for acute attack. Anti-inflammatory drug treatment must be continued for at least 1 to 2 weeks until after the symptoms subside. Colchicine as an effective alternative to NSAIDs for those who do not tolerate them or in whom they are contraindicated. Colchicine is slow to work. Intra-articular corticosteroid injections after arthrosynthesis, they are highly effective in acute monoarticular gout. Oral or parenteral corticosteroids are the choice of treatment in those who are NSAID intolerant. If the patient is intolerant to both steroids and NSAIDs, then colchicine comes into picture. Allopurinol should not be used in acute gout, the same with febuxostat. Allopurinol should be continued if the patient is already receiving uric acid suppressive treatment or uric acid lowering treatment. Even in spite of the acute attack, if the patient is already on allopurinol, we need to continue that and of course add NSAID or steroid or colchicine. Diuretic use for hypertension has to be changed. Loop diuretics, particularly thiazide diuretics and loop diuretics, are prone to induce hyperuricemia, and by reducing the uric acid excretion, so much so we may try to change the hypertensive treatment from diuretics to either amlodipine or losartan or ACE inhibitors or beta blockers, depending on the situation and the other comorbidities of the patient. Uricosuric treatment must be started after a second attack. Whenever a patient has experienced 2 or more attacks, he is a candidate for uricosuric treatment. Newer drugs in refractory cases with high serum uric acid levels. Newer drugs like pegloticase or benzobromorone as a uricosuric agent, or supplementary effects of losartan or fenofibrate or febuxostat. All these can be tried when high serum uric acid levels are there in refractory cases. So these are the 10 important take-home messages or 10 commandments on gout. Let's look at some of the case scenarios in the subsequent section.